Hello and welcome to First Dates and Soulmates, where we are the perfect mashup of meet cutes and metadata. I am your co-host, Meg Casebolt.
And I'm Nikki McKnight.
And today we're sort of mashing up my marketing brain with my romance brain. We're going to be talking about what are some of the most common SEO and search terms in the romance industry. So, Nikki, did I pitch this to you or did you pitch this to me? I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember. It was probably you because, truth be told, Meg, I don't really know what SEO is. I know there's keywords. I know it's how you show up better on Google, but that's kind of the extent of it, and that's it. So maybe we should start by, can you give an explainer to our soulmates today about like what exactly is SEO and how does it link to books? Because again, for me, I only think about SEO for my own website, which is like, oh, okay, what keywords do I want people to use? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm not in their brain. I don't know what words they use. I use my words. So teach us, Dr. Marketing, what is SEO?
All right, so my day job, when I'm not here with you or writing romance novels, my day job is that I own a marketing consulting firm called Love It for Search. It is an SEO marketing agency. So this is what I do all day, every day. So it's really fun to come to you and be like, oh, you don't know what I do. Cool. But I don't really know what you do. Customer experience operations, I don't really know what that is. So SEO is optimizing your content, whether that's your website or like your Amazon listing, so that you show up in those search results. So when people are looking for like best enemies to lovers books, whether they're looking on Amazon or they're looking on ChatGPT or they're looking on Google, you want yours to show up in that search result. And so one of the things that I do when I'm working on a new book, and maybe this is why I pitched it, is like I will go do the keyword research and I'll go do the category research to say, I just put out Alt Work No Play, and I was like, how many people are looking for rock star romance? Technically, it could fall into military romance, but I don't think the military people would like his approach to military. And really thinking about and authors all tend to do this. What are the comps? What are the other things that are happening in this category? What are the top books that are showing up in these Amazon categories or in these roundup posts, and how can I get my book to show up there? How can I position my marketing so that I show up in those search results? So that's really what we're talking about today. Not so much the how-to, but like, as I was doing the keyword research, I was like, Nikki, you would not believe the weird things that people search for.
Yes, because it's so funny to me because, again, in both of our day jobs, we know a lot of people who have written like business books. And the thing that makes me giggle, and this is by no means a criticism, I just think it's funny, when they're like, I'm an Amazon best-selling author because they got the orange flag on their Amazon book, but you look at the category they're ranking in, and it is the most random ass shit. Like, oh, my book is #1 in cozy marketing for adults under 35 who like vanilla lattes from Starbucks. #1 best-selling author. And like that goes in their media kit moving forward. Again, you wrote a book. I am happy for you either way. Like, I'm not judging that. But like, I look at those categories and go, what is this? Because I think, #1 in mindset, #1 in business, #1 in marketing, #1 in whatever.
Even like it used to be that you had to get on the USA Today list or the New York Times list to be a best-selling author, and now you can get really niche down in these categories. So I never have actually marketed myself this way, but my business book ranked #1 for 2 days in the at-home businesses category.
Honestly, put that on everything. That could be in your media kit. Like,
so
do
I'm totally a best-selling author because one day 2 years ago, like 20 people bought my book in one day. And so it was #1 in that category. But that's part of the marketing, right? Is knowing which of these categories that you want to fit into, knowing, and from romance, a lot of times it's which tropes are people looking for.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So one of the things I thought would be kind of fun is let's take a look at some of these categories, and I'm going to quiz you on which is selling more books, vampires or werewolves. Like, we can sort of make that assessment.
I like it because I think this is fun because my challenge with SEO as a business owner has always been, just like I said, I don't know what words my people are using because they're not my words. Because like we have our own internal specific vocabulary. Like we don't have like operations and system strategy and customer experience design. We don't have tropes in the same way.
Thank God you don't, because that would be.
It would be
awkward.
really weird, but think about how much easier it would be for me to do some of my marketing for my day job. I'm like, oh, you want whatever the spreadsheet equivalent of enemies to lovers is, and I can just put that on my website, and people will be like, of course, I need to go talk to Nikki. Whereas I'm talking about like customer experience design and scalability of systems and like, you know, self-sustaining infrastructure. Like I use those terms. Other people are like, I don't want my business to break. Or my business is hard. Like that's what they're using. I'm guessing. I don't actually fucking know. So SEO just like makes my head spin. So I love this idea of like, could I just use terms like werewolves and vampires and enemies to lovers and age gap and be like, cool. What are those equivalencies for me?
What are those equivalencies for my
Can I
business?
just do that for me?
Yeah. And there probably are people out there looking for like, I don't want my business to break, but then we would have to go, oh wait, are those people ready to work with you? Do they have the money to work with you? And that's part of what I do too.
That's hard. Let's talk about
smut.
Let's
There we go.
smut
I
it
like
up.
it.
Let's do it.
What do you think is the most popular month for romance novel sales?
Ooh. Would this, like, just in general, this isn't like trad pub, indie, just
This
in
is
general?
everything that sells on Amazon. This is for people who want to go back and double check my research. This part is from Publisher Rocket.
Okay. So my initial thought would be something like in the summer, like a summer month, like a June, July, thinking like, oh, it's summertime, I want to read. But then I'm like, no, if I think who are the readers, it's mostly women who probably have kids. Their kids are home during the summer. They probably have less time. Or so maybe it's Christmas, like December. Because like I always get books for Christmas.
It is September by a long shot.
Really?
In September 2025, there were 32,000 romance novels sold on Amazon.
You mean 2024?
Yes, I do mean 2024.
Okay, I was like, cool. Do they have like a different
This is not a
year
forecast
than we do?
In September 2024, there were 32,000 romance novels sold on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
The next most popular month is May and April. Those were about 31,000, so very close in there. Mm-hmm. What's the least popular month?
I don't know. I feel like January, because it's like everybody's like getting like back into habits, back into schools, or maybe like or I would say maybe that's December because everybody's too busy to read.
I thought it would be January.
Yeah.
It's June. It's June by a lot.
Really?
It's June. So I just told you that September 2024 was 32,000.
Yeah.
June 2024 was 14,000, less than half in June.
Wow.
June this year, 2025, is a little bit more. It's more like 24, but like substantially less.
Yeah.
A consistent drop year over year in June, which shocked me.
That is really interesting. Like the only equivalency I can think of for this is back when I worked in produce sales. You know, certain produce items are always selling more in certain months, and that's kind of how you plan your merchandise and you plan your inventory. Like July, it's watermelon for 4th of July. Like it explodes. December, it's oranges because citrus is huge. Strawberries is Valentine's Day, right? So there's kind of like those equivalencies I have in my brain that I'm trying to link to, like what is being merchandised, what holidays are existing that these products are being sold with. But yeah, like it's kind of interesting because I would not call like my reading habits the same as like the norm.
Most people do not read 800 books a year.
That's true. I don't have children either, so like I'm not really bound to like in school, out of school. I work from home, so I don't have to think about driving to school, working a 9 to 5 and this. So this is also just interesting to me because I have no freaking clue.
Well, like I do live that life and I'm still like, no, I don't read any less in June. Ever.
Yeah. That's so
If
interesting.
anything,
Okay,
I read
I'm
more
intrigued.
because I sit outside when it's finally sunny and I'm doing it then. It's probably January and February where I'm like, bleh, I don't want to do anything.
So do you think, like, just to kind of like I'm probably like taking you off of your planned path here. So if you were to look at that as an author, would you then say I should market my book in June because the competition is less? Or would you think June's not, there's no eyeballs because nobody's even on these websites looking to purchase, so that is actually a bad time for me to sell or market my book?
I think there's a lot of different factors at play, more so than just how many are being sold in a given month, because you could definitely drill down even more. So holiday romances, I started selling one in July, which was good because it was low competition, but it was also low demand, right? But then I was hoping that it could pick up, especially since it was the first book that I released, I was thinking that it could pick up some flywheel, some momentum before it got saturated in a market where everyone was releasing holiday romances, but people are searching for holiday romances. So a lot of those sales in November and December are holiday. So if I were to have said to you, what are the most popular months for holiday, probably about a third of the sales in those months are coming from holiday romances overall. So do you want to sell that in April? Probably not, even though April is the third most popular month. So a lot of that is dependent. And if we wanted to, we could drill down and be like, what month do Mafia sell the most? Like, we could get that information.
No, that's actually a great question. When would it be? I'm thinking, like, what is it? Probably February, because that's when everybody is super unhappy. It's like the February blahs when you just want to kill everybody. Give me some Mafia romance where people are legit just getting murdered and whatever. I feel like February, March would be a good time period. June is just so indelibly tied into like wedding month, spring, gardening clubs that are like, you know what I really need? A tall, swarthy Italian man with a heart of gold and questionable morals.
I always need a man with questionable morals. I love this so much. Let me look.
Okay, let's check.
Let me look it up while we're here.
Now in this discovery.
October.
I don't know. Do people just associate dark romance with Halloween?
I wanted to look up dark after that because I feel like dark romance I'm more likely to read when it's dark out. You know what? Dark romance isn't technically a category in Amazon.
Oh, interesting.
Mafia is a category, but dark isn't. But it is a search term that people are looking for. But it's not a category that you can choose. So when you go in and you put your book into Kindle Direct Publishing, you can't choose dark romance, but you can choose billionaire, alpha male, Black and African American, Mafia, clean and wholesome, enemies to lovers, BDSM, fantasy, historical, horror. They have horror erotica is a category, but dark romance isn't, which is kind of a surprise. Okay, so what's the most likely time that people are selling horror erotica?
Oh my gosh. I feel like it has to be like September, October.
It's October. It's October by a long
Halloween.
Shot.
I don't know. What is it about like October? Like obviously I would think that paranormal would rank well in October because it's the season. But what is it about October that's like, you know what I could also use? Creepy genitals. I shouldn't say creepy. I shouldn't be judging your tentacles. But excuse me.
This isn't alien though.
Alternative genitals, but monsters. Like if I look at Lily Mayne's Monsters series, like that's definitely to me, like it's not a Halloween series, but because it is monsters, that's when I would probably reread that. And
no, but if I were to go, if I go look up the horror erotica category, I bet that is not what shows up. No, there's a book called Her Soul for Revenge, a spicy, dark demon romance. Carnival Nightmare, a dark stalker romance. Hollow Hellion, the Hollows trilogy. So this is not monster romance. I think monster romance still falls into this. This is more like a milkmaid for my bully, carnival obsession.
Wow,
things have gotten worse since we left. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird shit. Carnival monsters, carnival stalkers. A lot of carnivals.
Yeah, maybe there's just like something creepy about carnivals in general.
Okay, how about humorous erotica?
Humorous erotica.
When does humorous erotica sell?
I would just, can you give me, do you have example of titles that fall under humorous erotica?
I absolutely do.
Because I have not read humorous erotica.
Neither have I. I didn't even know humorous.
I'm trying to get a read on the tone.
What the fuck? It happened one summer, shows up in humorous erotica. Tessa Bailey, it does not belong in humorous erotica.
Well, here's the other thing. What I've heard from authors sometimes is that their work gets tagged as erotica on Amazon, even if they didn't choose that, which kind of like deprioritizes them in whatever mystical algorithm. So then they have to spend a lot of time with the Amazon bots being like, this is not erotica. Can you please take it out of that category? So that makes me wonder, like, because I don't think Tess Bailey writes what I would deem erotica.
Neither do I.
She writes sexy, but I don't think it's erotica.
I think she writes sexy and good dirty talk for traditionally published books, but I don't think that she's particularly erotica. I think she's just
so that's kind of skewed.
Okay, but also A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Breen is listed as humorous erotica, and I do think I laughed out loud several times at that book, but it's also like a lot of BDSM.
Interesting. Okay.
And there's another one called Swipe Right for Monsters. So that's definitely a humorous erotica.
Okay, I'm just gonna, I'm thinking time of year, like when do we want something light? I want to say it's either gonna be like a February, March, because we need some funny shit to read, or it's gonna be like deep summer. because I want something light and easy to read.
It is deep summer. It is August by a landslide.
Wow.
Like more than double any month is humorous erotica.
There you go.
Who knew?
Humorous erotica release in August, I guess.
Okay, so that was not where I expected the conversation to go, and I love this. Okay, so in terms of book sales to make it to number one, the way that Amazon organizes this is like you within your category, you have to sell more books than the person in front of you to move up. So if you go into an Amazon listing, you can actually see for the top 3 categories that book is in, what number they're ranked, and by that you could figure out how many books have they sold.
Okay.
So what trope or category has to sell the most books to be listed as the number 1 bestseller? I'll put it this way. The top category, you have to sell 6,400 books in a day to rank number 1 for it. What do you think that is?
Like, I feel like it would be like one of the common ones, like an enemies to lovers type. But from the look on your face, I think that's not it.
I thought it would be too. It's not.
Hold on. Give me a hint. Because otherwise it's going to be something
50 Shades of Grey.
Niche. Is it like workplace? Is it BDSM?
No, it's billionaires. Billionaires is the most competitive category.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that actually back when we did Secret Identity Romance? We were kind of talking about how, like, yeah, billionaire sells a lot. And then I feel like, yeah, we may have had a conversation like tangentially related to this. And it was kind of shocking in terms of like how competitive a category it is. But also, like, despite its competitiveness, it has like the most volume associated with it.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating to me.
And then we'll get in a minute, we'll get into like how many Google searches there are versus how many sales there are. And it's very low. So I think the people who get into billionaire just like hit that they just like smash the one click.
Yeah.
You know, because they just binge entire series of billionaires.
That makes sense.
In a way that they don't in other categories. What's the next, I'm going to say like the next 5. Can you try, like, guess the next 5 categories?
So I would say something like it's enemies to lovers. It's like a close proximity. I don't even know actually if close proximity is an Amazon category.
It's not.
It's not.
Enemies
yeah,
to lovers is, but it's surprisingly not high volume, and I don't know why.
Interesting. Like a paranormal.
Paranormal is in the top 10.
Okay. Billionaire paranormal. Like Second Chance.
No, Second Chance is very unlikely.
Yeah, because we had a conversation. Who were we talking to about how
DJ Jameson?
It was DJ saying that, yeah, like Second Chance is not at all popular because if it was, she would write more of it. Like Small Town.
Small Town is number 7.
Okay.
Paranormal's number 9.
Billionaires. Like Royalty?
No, but Romantasy is number 2.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And then, like, what about, like, a Mafia? Or
Mafia's
like,
5.
Yeah, and then you said Dark isn't one, which, again, is shocking to me.
Right. But, like, Dark can fall into Mafia. It can fall into erotica. It can fall into BDSM. But it's not necessarily... Like, Dark is such an obscure term.
Yeah.
That the searches for dark romance are very high, but there's no category for it.
True, because I guess like if you
Weird, right?
searched dark, then yeah, Mafia could show up. Like Romantasy could show up if it's like a dark, kind of creepy Romantasy type deal. Yeah, okay. I'm like, is like romantic comedy one of them?
Romantic comedy is number 2. I'm sorry. Romantic comedy is number 2. I just didn't put it on my list because it was so high and it feels so vague to me. So it's billionaires, rom-coms, romantasy, romantic suspense.
Oh, okay. I get that because I like romantic suspense.
You
but
do.
To me, I think I niche it down more in my head because suspense, again, seems too broad.
Sports.
Ugh.
All sports.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mafia. Military. Small town. Later in life.
Ooh, interesting. Well, I guess if you look at like
paranormal.
the later in life, I think kind of makes sense to me because look at the age of like millennials now, like the oldest millennials in mid to late 40s now, and I feel like they probably want to read more about people finding romance in their 40s and 50s. So I guess the boomers are too old.
I think later in life is 40 plus. I think that's sort of the rule of later.
Oh God, no, I don't want to be later
hurt?
in life. No, I'm still young and frivolous. Oh, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I like to think of later as life as like they have kids. They're a parent and they have kids, but that could
Yeah.
also be in your 30s if you have young kids, you know?
Mm.
Or
Yeah.
like widowers and
Yeah, for me, like later in life is like I feel like you're on the cusp of 50. To me is like later in life romance.
When we're doing this podcast in 10 years, I'm going to ask you what later in life means to you, and you'll be like, totally retirement
60s.
age.
Retirement. You got to be 75. Claim that pension because that means you don't have a job, which means more time for romance.
If you're not getting your AARP card, then you don't belong in this category. Okay, so let's talk historicals.
Okay.
So what's really strange about historicals is they're not just about time periods, they're also locations.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you look up like historical romance categories and subcategories, it's not just like Tudors, it's like Scotland.
Oh, no, that makes sense because you want barbarians in kilts.
Mm-hmm.
Very specifically. I just think of like all the romance novels I used to steal from my mother when I was younger, or I would go to the library and get like the Hallmark really small paperback books that was like Harlequin silhouette, Harlequin intrigue, Harlequin historicals. And so many of them featured, muscular topless men with long kilts and long hair carrying like a two-handed claymore. So I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me as a historical time period. I would like man in kilt swinging gigantic sword.
But it's not like
what I mean.
This is the Viking era of Scotland. It's just Scotland is an era.
Scotland is kilt. Always. Just always. Regardless of time period. Scotland is kilt.
Scotland is killed. Okay, so I'm just gonna read these through because they're too hard to guess. So, first, top time period. That's actually time period. Regency. By a
Regency,
long
and
shot.
I think we discussed this previously. It was Regency, then like Victorian was second.
I didn't even see Victorian in the list. I think most Victorians just roll into Regency when they're listing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's close enough in time period because again, Regency was a time period of what, like 6 or 7 years? It's a very short time period.
Yeah, and Victorian came right after it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a lot of people just sort of lump those together as the pretty dress in ballrooms time period.
Exactly. We dance a quadrille. It's great. I come calling for tea. It's great.
It's the Bridgerton era, basically.
There we go.
The next is 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
American, which I think is like American Western.
That would make sense. Like historical Westerns, like 1820s, like not quite early frontier, but...
Like Beverly Jenkins.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Then Scottish.
Yeah, just killed.
Just killed. Kilt time.
Kill time.
Not killing time. Kilting time.
Kilting time.
I feel like I should probably have some sort of book, but I never want to write a kilt book, so never mind. There you go. All you writers out there listening, take the name. Yeah. It's quilting, or it's kilting time. It's quilting time would be a much more boring. That would be a really good later in life topic.
Oh my god.
It's not quitting time. It's quilting time. Ancient world, Viking, and Tudor.
Okay, so like ancient world for me would maybe be like ancient Rome, gods and goddesses, like kind of like maybe like a Zeus pantheon adjacent type.
Yeah. Maybe some mythology is in there and they call it might be more of like a fantasy, but it could also fall into the ancient world category.
Yeah, okay, that can make sense. Or I wonder if, and this is just me totally going on a side tangent, the ones that are like alternate history type deals, like a fantasy world that still involves maybe like the Greek pantheon, but it's not our world at all. It is still fantasy. I'm like, where would that fall into it?
No, like Katie Roberts, all of her, like, she has like an Olympia series, right?
Yeah, or I'm even thinking like, I think it's like YA, because I read it when I was very young. It was oh my God, it was like Cushiel's Dart, Jacqueline Carey. It was a series I read. It was Phaedra's trilogy. I read this when I was in high school. Actually, Dr. Fandom, Katie, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, she got me into the series. We read it when we were in high school. And it was kind of like the world map was Europe, but completely redone to like not be Europe. But it was like, oh, this kingdom is like British influenced, but it's not at all the UK. This kingdom is French influenced. So they were kind of taking, like in this series by Jacqueline Carey, the main land, the country that she's in is called Terre d'Ange. So it's French-ish. It's French coded. So I always wonder about like, where do those kind of fit into things? Oh, just random. Yeah. Apparently that was adult high fantasy erotica, which I vaguely remember. It came out in 2001, the first one. Wow. Makes me feel old.
Very old. You're
clearly,
later in life.
I am later in life. Almost. I'm not quite 40.
Almost there. You're waiting for your membership card to the later in life club. I am so over 40 and I'm here for it. Really quick, my 10-year-old came home recently and told me that 1 year on Mars is 2 years on Earth. Mm-hmm. So for my mom's 78th birthday, he made her a card that says happy 39 Mars years. And I'm turning 42 next year, so I was like, I feel like I want to go drink some Mars garitas, because I'll be 21 in Mars years.
I support this.
I think 42-year-olds should have a Mars years coming of age. Yeah. Okay, so I looked up Katie Roberts' Neon Gods and her Dark Olympus series to see if it shows up in Ancient World, and it does not. It ranks in action and adventure erotica. Mm-hmm. It's number 7 there. It's number
Indiana
15.
Jones with whips, if you know what I mean.
Indiana Jones fanfic BDSM is probably already out there. It's got to be out there.
Absolutely it is.
It's in the mythology category, and it's in the fairy tale fantasy category. Which I feel like most of the fairy tale fantasy is probably just Katie Roberts doing like the whole Disney princesses thing and then the mythology thing. Let me see. Yeah. Everything that I just did was Amazon based. It was how many categories are there on Amazon? How many sales are on Amazon to get an idea of what the bestseller list is. The other part of the research that I did, which I think is even more fun, is what are people actually searching for on Google? And so sometimes that will send them to Amazon, but often it will send them to like these roundup lists that are like the best clean teen Christian romance novels, right? So you sort of get that, you get multiple tropes in there, but people who are doing those roundup posts are excellent at doing their keyword research. They know exactly what they're doing these roundup posts that all probably have affiliate links to an Amazon post. So you already guessed enemies to lovers as being the top category, and it's not, but it is the top trope that is searched by a landslide.
Interesting.
I'm talking when my top after this, so my number 2 after this is 3,600 a month, and my enemies to lovers is 10,000 a month. It's 3 times as many people looking for enemies to lovers as many of these other tropes.
Wow, that's a lot.
And I should state, if anyone wants to check my work, that I did some very specific niching down in this, so that way I didn't get people looking for like enemies to lovers romance and enemies to lovers novels and enemies to lovers books. And I had a very specific way that I searched for this information, so that way I could do a comparison of apples to apples. So if someone really wants to geek out on me on this, please DM me, because I'll geek out with you, but I don't need to go into that level of detail with the normies. Okay, so enemies to lovers. I'm going to give you 2 options, and you have to tell me which has more search terms. I think this will be more fun than trying to guess.
Okay.
Christian or lesbian?
Christian.
Christian.
Yeah, I would guess by a lot. Like, a lot. Just so because I know a lot of, like, my mom's friends who are American. They love Christian romance. Like that. And you go to, like, I would go to, like, Barnes and Nobles and stuff down in Florida, and, like, there would just be bookshelves specifically marked as Christian romance.
Wow. And then it'd also be a little bit Florida, a little bit more southern too.
True. Yeah, very true. Listed. Yeah.
Actually, I was wrong. Christian and lesbian, same.
Really? Okay, that's actually fascinating to me then. Again, I wonder how much of it is like geographic and by age.
Yes. And we could look that up if we wanted to, if we were really curious about it. I didn't go into that level of detail. Christian or dark romance?
Dark.
Dark was, when I looked at the list, it was enemies to lovers, then dark romance. So what we were just talking about, what we were just talking about, how Amazon doesn't have a category for dark romance, but that's the language that people use. So a lot of the dark romances are reviews of their top 20 dark romances that would then lead to the mafia books, the BDSM books, all the things that fit into those categories. But there isn't a category in Amazon for it, which is kind of shocking. Are people more likely to look for steamy or spicy?
Ooh. I think steamy.
They are.
Yeah, I feel like that's a more common, like, it's like an older term in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like spicy, referring to romance as spicy, that just feels newer to me, even though I think they kind of mean the same thing. But I feel like steamy was something that was said for longer.
I kind of feel like people said steamy until people started using chili pepper emojis.
That actually makes sense. And then you just naturally go for like spicy.
Right, because we're talking about spice levels, and there's not really, what would you do? Like the air emoji? Mm-hmm. Like it's steamy, like you're in a sauna?
Or like a steaming cup of coffee.
Yes, this one's very steamy. More people looking for gay or lesbian?
Gay.
Lesbian.
Really? I was thinking about like the horny white women. I totally thought.
Because we've looked it up and we know that there are way more books being sold than there are lesbian books. But I think it's because people would look for or they'd look for male, or they'd look for queer or gay and assume that would be And so the language is split across multiple keywords versus people who are looking for FF are using the term lesbian.
Oh, okay. That does make more sense.
Okay. Mafia or Omegaverse?
Omega. No, Mafia.
Same. Same search volume. Now this is all fluctuating. This is average monthly search volume, but I was shocked that Omegaverse was that high.
I'm wondering if it's because I don't think there's not trad published Omegaverse.
Yeah.
Whereas there could be trad published of the other ones.
That's true.
And the other thing that makes me think of is like Omegaverse, depending on how it's written, sometimes can't even be published on something like Amazon. It has to be on something like Smashwords. Because if it's like, because some Omegaverse can fall under the taboo category, which Amazon won't list. It has to go on something like Smashwords, which does not have that like criteria that you can't post it. So I'm wondering how much that impacts it. Yeah, but like again, both of those I think are popular in a way that kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah. And I also just looked it up while you were explaining that I looked up Omegaverse romance in Amazon because there isn't an Omegaverse category, but it's a very high search term. And I was like, okay, what is the number one search result showing up for which categories? Alpha male romance, enemies to lovers romance, and paranormal romance.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think of, sometimes Omegaverse are wolves and they're werewolves, but they're not all werewolves. They're just wolves.
Yeah, not all the time. Yeah. And again, it makes me wonder sometimes around these terms is that it can mean so many things. Like again, sometimes Omegaverse includes shifters.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does not, and it's just a caste system. And sometimes when it's just a caste system, you can also have MPreg, and sometimes it doesn't, speaking for queer specifically. And then sometimes it can be only shifters who can only get pregnant in one of their forms and not the, like Omegaverse. And again, it's not my favorite genre. Like I talked about it on the show the other week where I said my ship was like the Night Movers. Which those are ones I always have to kind of check out to be okay. Like what brand of Omegaverse is this particular one? Because there are, certain things I prefer versus over, certain things I don't. But yeah, it's I'm not surprised it's not a category, but I can definitely see it is a popular search term in the Reddit and Facebook spaces in which I participate.
Okay, so here's all of the paranormal categories in Amazon, in order of popularity of sales. Werewolves and shifters, number 1. Vampires, witches, demons and devils, paranormal erotica, which they can cross-list in different categories. You can be in up to 3 categories, right? Ghosts, psychics, and angels.
Okay. That makes sense. I feel like we talked a little bit about that when we did our paranormal roundup episode last year, that I was a little shocked at like how low like even demons ranked for me, because most of this paranormal I read is demons. So in my mind, obviously you rank higher the things that you prefer, the things that you're exposed to. So I totally thought it was higher. Whereas for me, witches, mages, like magic users are lower. So why don't the rankings just match what my brain does?
I know, right?
Is the big question here.
I also look at this and I'm like, ooh, psychics and angels. I could totally rank number 1 in psychics and angels, because all you need to rank in the number, like in the top 10 results for angels, is 6 sales in one day. I could have my mom go in and buy them for me, and I'd be like, I'm a bestseller in angel romance.
You get that orange banner. You get that orange banner, Meg.
God damn it, I'll get the orange banner. Okay, are people more likely to search for cowboys or westerns? Cowboys, that's right. Like almost double the volume of people looking for cowboys. I feel
because like cowboy can be modern or not. To me, western reads as a period. Like in my mind, like if I was going to search, because I do like a cowboy, but I don't like a western.
You do like a cowboy. That was your recommendation a couple episodes ago, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I don't remember which particular one, but there was definitely cowboys involved.
It was with Andrea.
Yeah, it was Emmy Sanders, Brim Over Boot. Something. Yeah.
I read the first book in the series, but I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Okay. Now, finally, after looking at the search volume for dark romance, Christian, lesbian, steamy, gay, harlequin, mafia, fake dating, all of these, now we finally get to people actually looking for billionaires on Google. It's literally 10% of what people look for enemies to lovers is what they look for billionaires. So I really do think people are just hitting that one click button once it gets into their algorithm on Amazon, but they're not going and seeking it out, which is interesting. Okay, what's more popular?
Again, it makes me wonder, just like Kindle Unlimited versus not.
Yeah,
like what do people get when they get it, quote unquote, for free? In a way, because like you're not spending $8.99, $12.99, $19.99 on a separate book. It's like within, like, because if you go to like the Amazon Kindle free charts, those are a very distinct type of book that you don't get on the paid charts or the like the regular, like just through Kindle Unlimited. Like I find
I think the
tropes
totally
that you find on the free one are very consistent.
Yeah, and what's shocking, and that's not actually shocking now that I look at this, only 13% of billionaire books are publishers, like traditionally published. Most of them are on they're indie published, so they're more likely to be in Kindle Unlimited than something traditionally published, versus like historicals, only 46% are traditionally published. So you're going to be less likely to get that in a Kindle Unlimited setting. Very smart. Only less than 5% of BDSM erotica is traditionally published. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you at all. Nope. Okay. What is more searched, Amish or dystopian?
I would feel dystopian, but I feel like you're going to trick me and you're going to say it's
Amish. 880 people a month are looking for Amish romance.
Okay, genuinely curious, like, who's the audience for it? Like, is it Amish folks who have like left their Amish family and they are searching for comfort, or is the familiar, or is it a fetish for some people, or just curiosity, be like, what is an Amish romance?
I don't know.
I'm so intrigued.
Okay, wait, now
people who read Amish romance, tell me the things.
Should we read an Amish romance, Nikki?
We could.
Okay, wait. I gotta show you this. I'm sorry to everyone who's listening to this podcast. We might cut this part because it's so ridiculous, but I gotta show you. I'm looking right now at the bestsellers in Amish romance. You gotta see this cover. She's wearing a bonnet. He's wearing suspenders, and it's called Hunting for a Husband. It's so good. Do you see this?
Yes, I do. And that is, it's called Hunting for a Husband. And then the next sponsored one down is Amish Home Remedy for the Heart. It's an Amish Christian romance. Okay, I guess like if you put it under Christian romance, that makes sense to me. Because admittedly, I do not know a lot about the Amish, like, I'll say faith and like how they live, other than what I've seen in movies. And of course, movies and TV are entirely accurate.
Totally.
Depicting on how they live. So maybe this makes total sense. It would fall under a Christian romance category. I have no idea.
Also, I gotta tell you this now. The number 4 book in Amish romance right now is Quilty Until Proven Innocent.
Is it an Amish murder mystery romance?
It's even better than my quilting time.
Yeah.
It is a cozy mystery with senior sleuths and humor. So it probably also ranks for later in life.
Wow. Okay.
A cozy Amish mystery. What else do we need?
Okay. I like it.
Okay, let's do some more either ors where you have to guess whether more people search for horror romance or alien romance?
It sounded like you said whore romance. It's like,
I mean, degradation kink is a thing,
whores!
but
Whores! Okay, what are they again? Horror.
Horror or alien? Is that what I said?
Yeah, I feel like horror because it's a little bit broader, so it would just hit more.
It's actually alien.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll give you some that there's no way that you could know this. Slow burn or forced proximity, which is more popular?
Slow burn.
Correct. Second chance or marriage of convenience?
Marriage of convenience.
Yes, but just barely. And they're both only like 500 a month. So when I was talking about enemies to lovers being like 10,000 a month, and marriage of convenience and second chance are like 500 a month. So DJ was right. It's not super popular. Okay, are people more likely to search for Grumpy Sunshine or Black Cat Golden Retriever?
Grumpy Sunshine.
Just barely.
I feel like it's shorter to type.
It is.
That's literally the only reason I thought that. Also,
okay.
You don't have to worry about, like, how do I spell retriever? Is it I before E? Or is
my
it
God,
right?
Okay. Now, I did find a very strange related keyword that is not actually related to romance, but when I was looking up fake dating tropes and fake marriage tropes to figure out whether they were in there, I do want to let you know that 260 people a month search for, how do I report a fake marriage to immigration? And another 70 people a month search for, I think you'll really appreciate this, can employers regulate workplace romance?
Yeah.
We gotta get HR
these are the
involved.
questions. Yeah, dear HR, like, let's get them involved so it's nice and safe and consensual. Because, sidebar, you know what documentary I watched last night?
What?
The new Netflix series, they've got all, like, the train, I think it's called Trainwreck, it's all the weird documentaries, like the poop cruise.
Oh, God.
So the one I watched last night was about American Apparel and the founder of that company and how super sketchy that man was. And it gave me really big shades of, like, the Abercrombie documentary that came out last year. So this is why HR should always be involved, so that the founder and CEO is not dancing naked in the same room as his female employees. Oh. Yay, we love male CEOs of fashion companies. They never do anything wrong.
Oh,
that's my sidebar. You're welcome.
I'm so glad we said that. Just in case. I have a couple tropes that I wasn't expecting that I would like you to define for me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Or say to me what you think this trope would look like in a story.
Okay.
Sentient motorcycle romance.
Clearly the motorcycle is alive. Maybe like a transformer. Or this is like that new video game that you can play where you can fall in love with anything in your house, and that includes doors, picture frames, and they turn into like super sexualized, like anthropomorphic figures within the game. Yeah, I think the motorcycle is alive and has feelings. And
I was thinking more about that. What's that car that could talk in the 80s called Kit?
Knight Rider.
Yeah, like Knight Rider romance, but with sentient motorcycles.
That would make sense to me.
Describe to me what this trope would look like in a novel. Idiots to lovers trope.
Oh. Idiots to lovers?
Idiots to lovers. I've never seen it.
Are they clowns? Or are they called idiots just because they're so clearly oblivious to each other that the reader is just like, oh my God, you're a fucking idiot. Like, clearly they like you.
Yeah, I kind of in my mind, I saw it as a himbo by awakening.
Okay, that would make sense. That it's more of like a, because again, idiots, I'm like, are they talking about people who are like intellectually disabled who fall in love? Like, that's weird.
Oh, I hope not. Okay, define for me what the sex pollen trope is.
Sex pollen?
Sex pollen.
Like pollen from a flower?
Like pollen from a flower.
Okay, I think this is something like maybe like an alien planet or something where like the local flora puts off pollen and that pollen makes you horny.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Yeah! I'm winning at the weird sexy trope game. This is my mother will be proud.
170 people a month look for dinosaur romance. What does that look like?
I know exactly what those are. I have seen the covers of those. It's and they exist now, but it's essentially like Morning Glory Milking Farm, but it's with dinosaurs.
So it's just a different monster type.
Yeah.
Are people more likely to search for who did this to you trope or touch her and die trope?
Touch Her and Die.
No, who did this to you?
Really?
I would much rather read Touch Her and Die.
I love the touch them, touch whoever and die. I like that one. Again, we've talked about this before. It's one of those tropes that, like, if it was in real life, we'd be like, this is the red flaggiest of all red flags. But in a book, we're like, kind of like it.
Give me that alpha male.
I kind of like it. Also, so I looked up the name of the video game that I was mentioning is called Date Everything. It is a dating simulator where you can romance 100 different household objects, each with their own unique personality and voice acting. And y'all, I highly recommend you look this up on YouTube to see how this looks, because it's hilarious. Because, like, the icon is essentially a heart, and you're a character who's walking around like this house, and you're like, oh, I wonder if I can fall in love with this placemat. And you hold the heart over it, and the heart starts to expand, and all of a sudden the placemat turns into like this being that apparently now you can romance. So you're welcome. You get to date household objects.
This is like, you remember when, like, legalizing gay marriage was a thing, and people are like, what's next? Are people gonna fall in love with their pets and their doors? Yeah, apparently now we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Other tropes that I loved seeing in this list that we don't necessarily need to talk about are the last girl trope. People looking for the fridging trope to figure out what it is.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, who would deliberately look for that?
Yeah.
Like, I want to read something with fridging. Okay.
Right.
Looking up
but
the
I think understanding what the tropes are sort of shows up in here sometimes. The disposable black girlfriend trope. The dead wife trope. There's one called the hell of a boss trope.
Oh.
The came back wrong trope. That's not necessarily romance, but I love a came back wrong in, like,
it's kind of like in Practical Magic when they bring back, like, Jimmy Angel or whatever his name is. And you go, he came back wrong.
Yeah. Or Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Also true.
She came back wrong. And then maybe my favorite trope of this entire list is the standing there menacingly trope. 200 people a month want to know more about the standing menacingly trope. I was not planning to do this, but I just looked it up. Do you have any guesses about what the books are that we are showing up best for?
I feel like you've mentioned to me that Enemies to Lovers has come up, or like Close Proximity, because I remember you retitled one of our episodes based on the search terms.
Yeah, I do that a lot. That's a big part of my job, is retitling things.
Fantastic. Have at it.
In terms of the number of people who search for it and click through for it, is Heartless Elsie Silver tropes.
Oh, I did know that. You did tell me that we ranked, like, stupid high on that one.
Yeah, we rank number 7 for that term. And so I think I went back and rewrote the title of our Heartless episode, because it was just like Heartless. And I was like, Heartless by Elsie Silver, fake baby cowboy trope, or whatever it was.
Something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't fake. We also rank for number 60 for Sarah McLean, because we did one of her books. We ranked number 58 for Enemies to Lovers trope. We rank, let's see, Xena Warrior Princess. We ranked number 55 for.
Wow,
and that's like why.
That was Dr. Fandom. We talked about Xena in that one. Yeah, we talked about Xena, Buffy, and a couple other older, like, 90s shows that were queer coded.
Oh, maybe, that must have been it.
Yeah, that's when we talked about Xena.
We rank in the 60s for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah, our spy episode.
The Gundam fanon. We haven't gotten any clicks for it yet, but we do rank number 5
for Gundam.
Gundam fandom.
That's hilarious. That's also from Dr. Fandom's episode.
Yeah, we've got a lot of these.
About Gundam Wing fan fiction.
But also Hothead by Stella Rhys. We ranked number 11.
That makes sense, because that was a big one, which is why we chose that one, even though neither one of us, like, really enjoyed it.
Right.
It was one of the reasons we chose it was, like, it was like number 1 on all the Reddit threads when you were looking up that trope. We're like, okay, I guess we got to read it.
That was part of the reason that I started looking at this, is what are some of the topics and tropes and categories that we would potentially want to rank for. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, guys, I want to hear you talk about more alien romances, because we could probably rank for alien romances and angel romances and all these different topics. I mean, Enemies to Lovers, we know it's the most popular, and we're actually getting some clicks for it. So we're going to try to do a little bit more of this in the coming year ahead. If you want to dig into the numbers with me, you're more than welcome to, but I don't think anyone's going to take me up on that offer, because for realsies, it's a little boring. But if there are any of these things where you're like, oh, I definitely want more Gladiator recommendations from Nikki, come on over to our Substack. Hit us up. Tell us what you like. Tell us what surprised you from this list. Nikki, based on my research, what were you most surprised by in this rundown?
I think, again, it goes back to this concept of language and what are people looking for. My brain tends to like things like really regimented and really clear because, hello, ADHD brain, I get stuck in paralysis and analysis and all that good stuff. So for me to hear that some of the most popular search terms are like loosey goosey is kind of weird, but I guess it also makes sense. You know, you're casting a wider net, which means you'll get more eyeballs on it, even if the thing that somebody may have been looking for is not what they originally looked for, because they use these what I would call kind of like odd or broader terms. Then they'll kind of go, oh, what's that over there? Like I wasn't looking for that. And I think about my own search habits. Like I never search for books to read. I purely like go based on, you know, what shows up on like in my Kindle app of like, based on your reading, you might like these. And I'm like, cool, I'll read those. Like I just go, like all of my book recommendations come from within the app itself, or I'm on every single author that I like, I'm on their mailing list. And a lot of times they will recommend what they're currently reading at the bottom of the emails, and I'll read those. So it's interesting because like search terms for me don't come into it as an active act. It comes in likely passive because based on what I'm clicking and reading on, the powers be, the magical algorithms are likely serving up other recommendations based on these search terms, but I don't actively use them.
Yeah, it knows that you're hanging out in the like LGBTQ plus category, specifically in the subcategory, and so it's going to continue to serve you those. So it's not showing up in your Google search results, but it is showing up in your sales numbers for Amazon numbers. So you're contributing to that category sales, which is interesting. And you're also more of a new release reader, which helps with those, you know, sales numbers in a short period of time too.
Yeah, because I think about like, again, for next week's episode, like the 3 books I recommended were all new releases. They came out all within the same week because I was like, here's what I'm going to be reading this week anyway.
Oh, what is it that I was most surprised by? Sex pollen.
Is that a new piece of merch? Do I need to write that down? Sex pollen?
You know, what's funny is after I read it, I was like, oh, I've totally read a sex pollen romance, but I didn't call it sex pollen in my brain. There's also a lot of manga. There's a lot of fanfic. There's a lot of things in here that I didn't go into just because my working knowledge of it is so limited. But I think also one of the things that this brings me back to is like, even though you and I love this genre and feel like we read pretty broadly, there's still so much out there that we don't know. I don't know anything about Amish and Mennonite romance. Yeah. Thrillers. I know nothing. And I probably won't. I'm probably not going to read the Amish thrillers. Sorry, listeners. Sorry.
Yeah, probably not going to be on my hit list either.
So, Nikki, what are you shipping this week?
K-pop Demon Hunters! Oh my God, have you seen this, Meg? Have you seen this? Okay.
No.
Oh my, have you heard of it?
No.
Oh my God, it's the #1 movie on Netflix in so many countries right now. So
I was trapped in a car for the last 2,000 miles for a week. I don't have any knowledge of pop culture outside of Dogman. It's so bad.
Oh my God, guys. K-pop Demon Hunters. I think it was like a Friday night. I had just gotten home from work at the winery and I was like, I just need to lie on the couch and like vegetate for a little bit. What's on Netflix? So I clicked on it and I'm like, oh, it's a movie. It's not a TV series. It's a movie. So I watched the trailer, which is what I always do before I watch a new release. And I'm like, okay, this looks really good. And then I watched it. And I was like, this is fucking phenomenal. And I immediately watched it a second time. And then that soundtrack has been on repeat in my house for the last 2 weeks since it came out. It's amazing. It really, like, if you're an animation geek like I am, you look at this and go, wow, Disney has just been resting on their laurels that an animated feature as good as this could come out and just take the world by storm. It's, you know, it's in English. I also thought it was going to be in Korean because I thought it was like it's Korean made. It's basically about these 3 K-pop stars who are in a band called Huntrix, and they are these warriors who use their voices to maintain and create this barrier between the human world and the demon world called the Hunmun. And the goal is to turn the Hunmun gold because that would like permanently seal demons from the world. So they're always like fighting demons, and like being K-pop stars is like their cover. And, you know, Rumi is the face. She's the main person in the group. Like her mom was a hunter and she was killed by demons. And it turns out, and you find this out very early on, that Rumi is actually half demon. So she has these patterns, which is like the marks that demons have in their demon form, and they kind of shimmer when you're in human form. And they're all trying to like fix the Hun Moon, defeat these demons, and defeat the demon king, whose name I know I'm going to mispronounce. It's like Huima. And then the demons are being defeated because Huntrix is doing really, really well. And then you have this demon, his name is Genu. He goes to the demon king. He's like, I have an idea on how you guys keep going after the hunters and they keep beating you. I have an idea. We're going to have a K-pop boy band and we're going to hit these hunters where it hurts by taking their fans. And it's so funny because the demon king's like, that's not going to work. And Genu gets all these demon guys to like pose in a K-pop band pose. And like random demons go, oh yeah, no, that's totally going to work. That's totally going to work. And it's amazing. So it's really funny. The music is fucking phenomenal. Legit cried the last 20 minutes of this movie. Adults will like it. Kids will like it. It might be a little bit scary for like super young kids because of the demons, but it's a fucking fabulous movie. The animation is gorgeous. I hope they do more with it because it was a feature. Some of the storytelling had to be cut. Like there's certain things in the plot that I'm like, I really wish you guys had made this like a 3-episode series, like a mini series. It would have been so good. But I hope they give this creative team more work because it's fucking phenomenal. And there's a reason why it's #1 in multiple countries across the world. It's fucking fabulous. Go watch K-pop Demon Hunters. And every time I say that, people look at me like, what? I'm like, just do it. It's an animated film. It's the best thing you're going to watch so far this year. It's amazing. Please go watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Meg, what are you shipping?
I'm shipping Publisher Rocket because I had a lot of fun pulling together all of the categories and trends. And it's just a tool that I use that's like very helpful and not intuitive, but I use enough of these tools that I can figure it out pretty quickly. And I just think that it's some really interesting information. So yeah, I'll keep it brief today. Publisher Rocket for the win.
Very nice. So if you're a nerd like Meg with numbers, you can go check that out. Or if you're an author who's like doing research, I guess you could start playing around with that data and try to figure out, you know, maybe what type of book or how you should label your book or all those other fun things so that you too can get that orange Amazon banner in a really random and niche category. Awesome. Meg, thank you so much for nerding out in this way. And now it just makes me want to like look at all the tags in Goodreads when I'm looking at books and being like, how are they tagging these books? What does this mean? Will there be a sex pollen tag? Only you can find out. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. If you would like to support us, please head on over to Substack, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Rate, review, and subscribe. You know all the algorithmic things we've been talking about today? That's the #1 thing you can do to help us show up in more people's feeds as recommended shows. Tell a friend to listen to us. It's always delightful when you get to share opinions on shows. Be like, can you believe about sex pollen? Nikki and Meg were talking about it and it was super fascinating, so you really should. Then you can follow us on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and the YouTubes. We're at First Dates and Soulmates. And if you have a little bit of money you'd like to shoot our way, you can head on over to our merch store at TeePublic. Link is in the show notes for you. I feel like I'm going to be creating a sex pollen sticker at some point. There's also something else you said in this episode. I'm going to have to go back. And as soon as you said it, I'm like, that's a sticker. That's a sticker. So new merch coming. Who knows? But the other thing you can do is subscribe to us on Substack. For the price of I'm going to go with McDonald's double hamburger every month. You can support the work we put into this show, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Was it about how Scotland is kilts?
No, it was something else. I'm going to have to go back through the transcripts and be like, find the thing that Meg said that I was like, oh, that's a good merch idea. That's a good merch idea. I don't remember what it was. I did not write it down. Boo on me. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking about some of those new releases that we talked about earlier today. It's All Gay My Way is coming up next week. We'll see you then. Bye.